Red Rising by Pierce Brown, published in 2014. So, starting off real quick here, should you read the book? Yes, it's a fun story, kind of reminiscent of both Ender's Game and The Hunger Games. You know, minus the word game in its title. Obviously, just thought I'd point that out for some reason. But before I give you my reasons on why this is worth reading, here is a quick synopsis. Darrow, our protagonist, he is a Red. He's one of the lowest members of human society, and he toils beneath the surface of Mars to make it livable for future generations, or so he believes, until he discovers firsthand that the surface of Mars, it's been habitable and thriving for generations. Now, naturally, he's angered by the deception and the oppression of all those who lord over him, and he's nearly broken by the recent loss of his wife Io as well. So, with all this all culminates in just sending him over the edge, and Darrow winds up joining a group of rebels to set out and infiltrate the enemy and bring down this corrupt system that they've erected from within. Let's start with the pros. The society itself is very unique. The side characters are well fleshed out, far more so than in most stories, in fact, and as the story progresses, things become increasingly enthralling. It culminates in an ending that really works quite nicely. But the book does have problems. For starters, some of these quote-unquote good guys are terrible, terrible people, and one of the characters in particular, early on in the story, winds up just walking up to Darrow after his wife dies and insulting him for no reason, then asking him for help. It's very, very strange. Like, who would do this kind of thing? Then there's the absurdity of the world we're dropped into. Red Rising is another dystopian evil government let's enslave people because machines are too boring to order around type story. Why? I'm getting tired of this. I don't find these morbid versions of the future compelling because they just don't make sense. Why must we always regress? Where is the humanity here? Next, why is this book YA? 16-year-old Darrow, he has the most dangerous job among the miners. He's married and widowed, and he talks like an adult. This is another oddity that I see far too often in books. If you're not going to bother writing a character to feel like a kid, then don't. Make them an adult. In what way is it necessary to make Darrow a kid? Is it to make his transformation by the end feel that much more dramatic? It's dramatic enough. The guy practically becomes a god, and yes, I realize there's this whole school aspect to the story, but given the nature of the school, it really doesn't need to be for kids. It could just as easily be a military academy. Other problems, I didn't really buy Darrow as being that smart, in spite of the book telling me that he is time and time again, because he rarely does anything that's smart, and most of the time, most of his life has been spent underground. Also, I didn't really like a certain element that's revealed in the end that tries to make things a little more interconnected than I felt they needed or should be logically. It bugged me a little bit. So read the book. I guess I enjoyed the story, but not enough to coax me into reading the sequel. Something just tells me they aren't going to be as good. Ender's Game and The Hunger Games, for example, those properties, the sequels are certainly not as good as the first installments, and I feel like this will follow suit. Anyway, if you liked this review, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thanks for watching. Peace.